Okay, so as you guys might have known, I started a social media marketing agency and pretty quickly was able to scale it to $10,000 a month. It's called Fly Media. We basically make clips for performers. In case you clowns want some more proof, everything down here, and then I'll go to the next page, and all of these transactions right here were from my social media marketing agency. So pretty much everyone was paying somewhere between $749 all the way up to $2.5K per month. And this was kind of an easy thing for me to get into because I have a partner helping me on it, and it was easy for me to get clients because I already have a big Instagram in the performer space. So it was really easy for me to cold outreach a lot of these people and get new clients signed up. And my partner is doing a lot more of the management end of this agency. However, right after getting to 10K per month in monthly recurring revenue, it's not really recurring because we ended up getting a lot of churn. And so in some cases, this was unhappy clients. In other cases, this was unqualified clients. And so I really think that 10K a month point is kind of a lot of the time where you end up realizing, okay, shoot, for me to be able to do this at scale, I'm going to need to have a whole different strategy than when I started this agency. And so part of what I believe I can do as someone who makes videos on this type of stuff is when I make mistakes like this and actually encounter them, walk you guys through the mistakes that happen so you guys don't make the same mistakes. So let's open a new Google Doc real quick, zoom it in quite a bit, and let's go over all the mistakes that were being made so that you guys don't make the mistakes as well. The number one mistake I think we made was signing leads that were unqualified or only half qualified. Now, to be fair, it was kind of our first couple clients in the agency, so just getting any results under our belt was worth it. But in general, especially once you've started to build up some sort of proof or testimonial or client base, if you have clients that are on call and that are like, I don't know, that does seem like a lot of money, or they say something like, oof, I mean, maybe I could do it for a month and just see, that's a client that you essentially want to avoid. For you to be able to consistently make money from a client, it really only is worth your time and effort if you can keep the client around for more than 1 month. And so if the client themselves on that initial discovery call that you have with them is like very skeptical if they would actually benefit from this, doesn't seem to have a high budget, unsure about going forward, you might be able to sign them up, but if they're pretty much going to churn the next month, what's the point? You essentially are setting yourself up for failure because you're going to do all this work to increase your monthly recurring revenue for that month, but then for it to just drop the month right after. So in this circumstance now, since we have a decent enough testimonial base, I kind of think it's not really worth trying to sign people up, especially if you're like me and you're kind of like, oh, I want to get the close, and I want to make the sale. It's not worth it if the fulfillment is only going to last 1 month. You're not going to be able to re-sign the person. You're going to get high churn, and they're going to feel uneven about the service because they don't have that much money laying around. So every single dollar that they spend is going to feel like, man, I don't know if I got my money's worth for that. Whereas if you just have a client who's a little bit richer, but you do the same service for, they don't really have that same opportunity cost where they're not going, oh, was this worth every dollar I spent? They were like, yeah, that might have been worth it. I mean, it wasn't that much money, and they did manage my social media, so sure. So that was the number one mistake. The number two mistake that we made is, as you scale, having good talent is crucial. So once you are no longer going to be doing this stuff yourself, right? So when you have one client, you can oversee everything. When you have 10 clients, you can't always oversee every single thing that's happening with every single client. When that happens, you need A players, or else they're going to deliver a product that's bad quality that either you're going to have to keep investing a ton of time, right? If you're investing your time making sure everything's good across 10 clients now instead of just one, you're going to be work tirelessly and be paying someone to try to fulfill the service. And it's going to be way shittier than just paying someone even double the amount that will actually do a good job. Because what happens when the editor does a bad job? Either you have to sink your time into it, making sure they make edits to do a better job, or you leave it, you let it be, and then the product ends up being ass. The client ends up being unhappy, they churn, and then worse yet, your next clients are going to go and ask them, was this good? And they're going to say, no, it was shit. And now you're not going to be able to grow and capture market share from that space. So this was a pretty obvious mistake. At the very low levels, you can get away with not hiring A players because you're able to sink your time into making sure that they update things and get it right. But at scale, you're not going to be able to fulfill a quality service without having players that can fulfill the service themselves without needing your daily management. So in other words, pay more and profit less when you're going through that growth period and scaling. Number three, I'm going to say this, is accept lower margins, at the very least temporarily. Here's the thing, when you have like 1 to 3 clients, you might think, oh, wait, we can do this at 80% profit margins because I'm just going to handle all the communication with the client myself. But as you start to scale, you're going to need someone to replace that role as well. So now not only is the editor going to be cutting into your margins, but your social media manager lower is also going to be cutting into your margins. And instead of being like, oh, wait, I thought I could do this at 80% margins, you have to go, well, no, for me to achieve this greater scale, I need to just accept the fact that I'm going to get lower margins, but I'm going to be able to do this at a much wider range of clients. So just accept that when you're growing, your profit margins are going to lower, and it's worth doing that, especially to deliver a product that clients think is superb, because then you can grow a lot faster because you'll grow from just referrals and from just people giving great testimonials and saying your product is great. And the last mistake I'd say we made is that we did a lot of kind of automated cold outreach and very little personalization in a market that's extremely niche and very intimate. So we were literally only talking to magicians. And so a lot of these magicians actually all knew each other. So when we started getting these new clients, and then we were cold outreaching the friends of the clients that we already had, they would kind of go, wait, well, why is this guy trying to cold outreach me? Why hasn't my friend just told me that this guy was already good? So I think if you're going to be in a very niche market where a lot of the people that you're talking to know each other, it's way better to approach the client you already have and say, hey, client, do you know XYZ name? I was thinking of reaching out to him and seeing if he wants this. If the client says yes, ask them to make the introduction is the best case scenario. Or if they're not comfortable enough to do that, at the very least ask, oh, would it be cool if I use your name and said that I got permission to reach out from blah, blah, blah. Doing cold blanket automated style outreach in a market where people know each other is just kind of weird and off-putting. And it seems like, okay, well, this is great because I'm going to grow faster. But honestly, it can often turn someone who otherwise would have been open to having a call with you, for example, to someone who's going, wait, this feels wrong. Why is he outreaching me like this? And then no longer wanting to go forward with that. So those are the mistakes we made. And like literally, I think in this month, we had enough client churn and client unhappiness. This is really bad. We're even giving refunds at this point to some people. To take a step back, only sign people who we know are actually qualified and will get long-term benefit and want to work with us long time. Hiring more A players so we can deliver a better product that clients are happy with and we get lower churn from. Doing it at lower margins, at the very least, just to ensure that our product is high quality. And changing our outreach to be a lot more personalized since we're in such a niche market. Now, just to be clear, we do have a lot of clients who are very happy with the service. It can kind of just depend on what the client's needs are and what their expectations are. But for the ones that are unhappy, this is what we're doing to fix that. And we recognize that there's no long-term chance to succeed in this business if like 50% of your MRR is going to churn instantly because they're not happy with the product. So in those cases, refund, do everything you can to change their opinion on the quality of your product. And actually, if you need to change their opinion, fully refund them and deliver something for free that is way better than it was before. That's our plan with the clients that were unhappy with the service. Because in a niche market like this, you know that people are going to go and ask their friend, oh, was this good? And if that person says, no, it was shit. However, on the other hand, if that friend says, oh yeah, I work with them and they're great, that is the easiest signed client you will ever have in your life. There's basically no cost to acquire that customer. You don't have to do any of the outreach. It is genuinely just the easiest thing. And they're not skeptical of you at all if they can get their confirmation from someone that they actually trust. So that's a way better approach. And sometimes, get this, growing the right way will take longer. If you try to rush your growth, you're going to stunt yourself and you're not going to make anywhere near as much money than if you just take a little bit longer to actually grow, but you do it the right way. By signing qualified leads, hiring A players, doing it at lower margins to make sure that you have a fucking great product, and doing more niche personalized outreach, especially if you have a niche market that is very intimate and they all know each other, where your success will be based on people's referrals. So I hope you can learn from the mistakes that I made, and I will be making some update videos soon about how we're able to get over these problems so you guys can learn from everything that I do. If you appreciate these videos and the transparency that's coming with it, again, I'm showing every single thing from 0 all the way to 10K a month and all the mistakes we saw along the way. The 3 easiest ways to support me are 1, subscribe and leave a like on this video. That way you won't miss more updates and uploads from me. Number 2, join my free Discord in the description with nearly 20,000 members now, and actually just go in this Discord and drop your best money making sauce. This entire community is dedicated to transparently showing how to make money and helping each other improve. And lastly, if you need help figuring out which side hustle you should start, we have free courses showing you how to start different side hustles completely transparently from creators that are completely transparent. I have some of my own courses courses, but we also brought in experts doing other side hustles to teach courses that they can do 100% transparently. And that's on moneymindacademy.io, which will also be linked in the description. All you have to do is go here and click get started. And if you really like what we're doing, you can also just directly support the mission here and contribute. That is not expected unless any of the advice that I've given in my videos has actually directly helped you make money. Other than that, please do not give me money until whatever you've intook from my content has actually helped you make 5 to 10x more than you would even consider contributing. This just helps us improve the academy as fast as possible and take down every guru in the Make Money Online space to actually give out all of that information completely transparently and completely free. As always, thank you guys all so much for watching the video. I'll catch you on the next one, and peace.